Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. This is Inter Worldwide. I am back with two gracious guests to talk about all things in that striker department and everything that's coming with the Mercato. So welcome back, Christian Rivas. How you doing, sir?
I am excellent. Just
That's
got out of
good to
work,
hear.
tired.
Yeah. What time is it over there?
It's only midnight.
That's cool. I'd be well into sleep at that time. Mario from New York. How you doing? Good to see you again. It's been a
I was
while.
not I was not expecting that intro
Oh yeah.
like that.
Do
I
you like
was
it?
not expecting. I love it actually.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you like it, bro.
I was like, where the hell is this music coming from? What's going on here? And I switched my tab for a second. I'm like, I love
That's
it though.
cool. Did you see
It's
yourself
awesome.
in the corner? It looks
I
nice.
did. It looks perfect. I love it.
All right, cool. Shout out
Came
to
together really
Akil.
good.
Thank you, Akil, brother. There's 11
Love
people
it.
here right now, so thanks for clicking the video. If you're one of the first 11, let us know who you are, where you are. If you are new, benvenuti to the channel, and we're just going to jump into it straight away. We might be joined by one other person, but for now, we'll start to go around the table because life after Lukaku is very real. It's already being planned. What's up to yourself, bro? I'm not going to even attempt to read that name. Now, Biggie, always in the chat, man. 12 people here right now. Good to see you all. Christian, quite unhappy the morning of, at least reactionary wise, but I think it was just more of a build-up of things, sunning, hustle, finesse wise, just being shady in general. Now that the dust is starting to settle on the fact that we've sold Lukaku, what are your thoughts coming into the sale, bro? And how do you think that we can invest this and basically save face in the Mercato with this deal?
So my personal opinion is I wasn't mad about Lukaku being sold. Okay. I said he should have been sold from the beginning. I was blown because we sold Hakimi. Remember, Mario, we were saying that Lukaku is probably not going to be as good under Inzaghi, and his price would drop. He'd go from like 115, 120 to like 50, 40 million. So you take an L on him. But we didn't have to sell Hakimi if we were going to sell Lukaku the whole time. That's just my beef. I'm okay with him leaving.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Fair enough. It's good to see 25 people already in the video, so make sure you like it. Let us know where you are from. And I want to welcome my friend Hal from Australia. He's been on the channel, I think, once or twice before. What's going on, my friend? All sunshine and rainbows for you?
It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, Australia, mate. It's quite nice. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, man.
Nah,
Pleasure.
no worries, bro. No worries, bro. I've brought him on for a reason. He's going to give a very logical, positive spin on the Romelu Lukaku deal, and basically why it was the best decision to sell him, and basically where we go from here. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to go over to Mario next because it's been a while since we had you on the channel. Make sure you unmute yourself before you talk, Mario. What are your thoughts now following post Lukaku, bro? Do you reckon we're going to invest that money wisely? And based on what you've seen in the media in the last 24 to 48 hours, are you confident Inzaghi can work with the new tools at his disposal?
I'm pretty confident. I'm not going into the season thinking we're gonna like completely trash out and finish in Conference League or whatever the case is. I was surprised at the Lukaku sale. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit alarming, a little bit surprising, but it makes sense to me because we sold Hakimi, and then I think this was not supposed to happen in the first place. We sold Hakimi. We're like, all right, now we gotta sell someone else, another two people. Then all of a sudden, Chelsea comes with $100 million, 100 million euros, whatever the case is. You can't say no to that. You can't say no to that. In any team, you'd be stupid to say no to that kind of money, unless it's Messi, unless it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Understandable, you say no. But Lukaku, like Christian said, we talked about it in our group chat many times. Inzaghi's not designing his strategies for Lukaku. He's looking at the whole bigger picture. He's going to look for a more collective effort. Because Conte came in, and his primary focus was, I'm going to build a team around Lukaku. Then he got Hakimi. We're going to build a team around Lukaku, and Hakimi's going to play a role. That's what happened. So it's two completely different ideologies. Conte has his rigid philosophy. He's not going to change much as the season goes on. He's making drastic changes here and there, obviously, because he's a coach. But it makes sense to sell him. You can't not sell someone when you're in a financially distressed time. You sold Hakimi $70 million. You sold Lukaku $120 120, 115, whatever the case is. You just profited almost 200 in profit, but you just sold 200 million euros worth of players, and you cleared the debt, and you're in the green, which lets you operate now. We need a right back for Hakimi. We can sign Dumfries. You need a striker. You have Correa. You have Zapata. I personally hope they go for Belotti. We can talk about that later, whatever the case is. But that's just my initial thought. I think it's a great piece of business. Lukaku might not have had a great season, and then we can get stuck with him. Maybe he doesn't get along with Inzaghi, whatever the case is, but it's not a sure thing that he's going to put up 30 goals. Nobody is guaranteed goals, assists, time playing, relationships. Who knows? Maybe he holds out a season. Anything's possible. You get that offer. I said the same thing with Lautaro. 100 million comes from Barca. Clean. I'm not going to complain. If you sold them Lukaku 50 million, then I scratch my head.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough, bro. I'm going over to my boy Snake. Hal, I want you to go. You've got the mic, man. You've got the floor. Make sure to unmute yourself before you go. But you're going to give us a range of reasons why cashing in on a 28-year-old who basically just started to look world-class under one coach. This is a no-brainer, bro. We're not letting El Phenomenal go here. It's Romelu Lukaku was a great player, brother, but you got to take this offer, man. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's as Mario was saying, you can't say no to that kind of offer. I'm a big Lukaku fan. I've been supporting Inter since early 90s, and I don't think I've seen someone get as quick up in goals as he did. Let's be honest. It's not good to sell this player. I know we're dealing with it now, but I knew a lot of people, a lot of pundits said the same thing, that when we sold Hakimi, we should be selling Lukaku instead. I don't think there was an offer at the time. I don't think there was a clear offer. If there was, it probably would have been considered in prior to selling Hakimi. However, the reality is Hakimi was sold, and one thing we always berated the management about was not selling players early in a transfer window and not giving enough time to replace. This time they finally did it. They got a good offer, they got a good price, they took it, and they had lots of time to go about it. Unfortunately, we got blindsided. We didn't see that offer coming. I don't think anybody saw that offer coming. I don't think Lukaku saw it, and that was the issue. The fact that you didn't see it, you couldn't really plan for it. However, in business, if you get an offer you can't refuse, you take it, and you take it, right? So I still think Lukaku would have worked under Inzaghi. What I can see with Inzaghi as opposed to Conte is he's going to play with the wings a lot more. He's going to get the ball to the wings more and get the ball crossed in, and then you're going to have these strikers and these big players coming in, especially late runs from midfield to try and make something in the box, as opposed to Conte, who was happy to sit back, take a lot of pressure, and then quickly get the ball to Lukaku, who the team was built around, to get that ball forward. So I still think it's a shame that we lost him. All I'm trying to bring is this perspective of, let's be logical. The logical view of this situation is we had to sell early, and the offer we had was Hakimi. We took it. That's okay. Then we had this offer. The logical decision to make is to sell. Now, already people are complaining about the price paid for Dzeko. Let's be logical again. Here we are. We're going to a guy who's got $7.5 million on a contract. You're not going to get him for less than 5. You got to give him 5. Number 2, Roma knows the situation. They know we're desperate. He knows we're desperate. We have no bargaining power. But do we really want to, drag this out? We don't have the time to drag it out. My perspective is I'm supporting the club here. I'm supporting the management. I'm even supporting Suning and Zhang. And I think they've got my trust in making the right decisions with the money. And I think it needs to be finalized. And we'll find out before the end of August just what they're doing. It's tough. It really is. It's hard to deal with being blindsided like that. But right now, and as someone said it in the chat before, we're FC Inter. We're not FC Lukaku. We've seen big players come and go. We're going to see big players come and go, but we need to be realistic, not just about our financial situation. But the reality is we did win by quite a margin. Our competitors haven't gone too strong. We can probably afford to accept this ridiculous offer. Whereas if we'd finished 1 point behind Juve and we were a little bit desperate, then, it's a different situation. It's a different ballgame. I think we've done the right thing. I think selling Lukaku is the right decision. And I'm not going to say anything until I see what happens with that money. I'm very happy that we've got Dzeko. I think he's perfect for the bench. He's perfect to come on late in games if we need a goal. If you've got Di Marco and you've got Darmian on the other side crossing in these balls, so perfectly like they've done preseason, I think he's going to be an absolute weapon late in games against smaller teams. What we're not talking about quickly is LM. Lautaro Martinez, he needs to step up. It's time for him. It's D-Day. Yeah. He needs to step up. Is he either going to be, sorry, John, I didn't see them. Mario, you go for it.
I just have one thing to say, because I thought of this on the Dzeko thing. Napoli paid Petagna $20 million to do what Dzeko is going to do.
Did they pay $20 million for Petagna? Far out. That's a lot, bro.
Yes, and they want to talk about us not balancing books.
Damn. Yeah, it's a good point. And look, I think he's a necessary evil. He's experienced. He's going to be costly, and his heart's not going to be 100%. I see him as the next Kolarov. One of these guys just seeing at the twilight of their career. But he's a necessary evil. Someone sit on the bench, and we've seen it. Juve signed Llorente how many years ago, and they needed him. They paid quite a bit for his salary, but at the same time, some of these players are necessary in these kind of structures. The big thing is Lautaro Martinez. I think if he steps up and he can turn to a 10, 15 goal player to a 25 goal player and really cement himself as one of the world's best, not just will it be good for future business, but it'd be good for us to replace Lukaku. So as I was saying in the chat previously, I think our team was built for Lukaku. It was built for Lukaku. So Lautaro Martinez suffered a little bit. He was the crumbs of our strike force, right? So I think this time around, if he's the center of attention, and we get a partner, let's say Zapata, who's proven can actually build more chances than Lukaku can, then I think Lautaro could be the one that steps up and takes that gap. And I think that's what they're looking for. I think the team's saying, okay, we're going to invest in 2 players, maybe 3 with this money, but Lautaro, we need you to step up. We need 20 goals. And I think that'll be the decider for the Scudetto.
Yeah, fair enough, man. I'm going to Christian next for a couple of things. Bruno says if Martinez steps up, how many European clubs will be circling? That's a great point. Even the more reason for him to score 20-plus goals next season and for the offer to go up from 65, 70 up to 90, 95, bro, and then we cash in again. I think I love El Toro as well. And, Christian and I were talking a lot before the Mercato about who we thought would be the big names to leave. And we were both sort of alluding to the fact that Martinez would be the first one to leave. But it turns out El Toro was like the one that ended up staying. Christian and I wanted Lukaku gone as the first one, right? Christian, man, because we thought if you're going to get anybody at 28 for that money, you get him, provided that nobody else was sold. And then they came out with the Hakimi one and it threw everything out of structure.
Yeah. So I just think with if you guys were talking about Lautaro being the one that was going to be sold, that means that's got momentum. That whole idea's got momentum. So as a team and as fans, we need to be prepared that in 1 or 2 years, he's gone. I think his mind, he's probably already gone to Barcelona to be the next big thing. Prepare yourselves for a year or 2. I think he won't stay forever.
Oh, yeah. And with Barcelona's books at the moment, he's going to have to keep dreaming, bro. Christian, over to you, man. Piggyback on whatever thoughts you want. But the one thing that you're in charge of alluding to, you could talk about Big Rom and his role in this decision. He's not as innocent as we think.
I was the one that said Lautaro shouldn't be sold. Just to put it out there, because Mo said to sell him and replace him with Roberto Firmino.
Yeah, but we also said we thought he would be the one to be sold.
I thought it was going to be Lukaku from the beginning because I always said Lukaku came specifically because of Conte. And with Conte gone, what's the point of him being here? The whole team was built around Lukaku for Lukaku, so he was always going to bang the goals. Like you all said, Toto suffered the most from Lukaku being the main one to get the goals in. I think we're going to probably end up re-signing Toto to a new contract. He'll probably get like a 2-year extension with the big raise. Let's say he'll go from like 2.5 to maybe 6 mil, 6.5 mil. I think we should probably build around him. That's my personal thought. He's still young. He's still got time. Barca don't have the money to come after him. Now, in terms of Lukaku, he reminds me of Messi right now. Like, no matter how you try to spin it with the whole waterworks show, if you really cared about the club, you would have stayed. We've seen it time and time again with big-name players like Buffon and Del Piero said when they went down to City B, they didn't abandon ship. Zanetti had offers from Madrid and Barcelona, turned them down to stay at Inter. Like, dude, if you really were about that life, saying that you're about that club, you wouldn't have got up and left. Then again, 15 million euros is a lot of money, and he wasn't going to turn it away because he knew he'd probably never get that offer again. And I think he pushed for it. I'm not going to sit there and think that he didn't.
What do you mean by he pushed for it? When did it become about Lukaku accepting a move under the cover for us? Because I personally think, I'll tell you right now, you remember when Pastorello, however you say his agent's name, ended up in Milan to discuss Keita Balde, who is also one of his agents. That was probably your biggest push for Lukaku right there. It was shifty as. That was a while ago now, though. You're looking at a good, maybe week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
I think this was all in the works before then.
Yeah.
Dude, I heard from certain people saying that Lukaku was talking to Chelsea while he was on vacation.
That trip to America, let me tell you, a lot of things happened with Rock Nation Sports in the US. They were talking about this deal in the US. Rock Nation Sports drove this whole thing.
I was hearing this on ESPN before the thing was even coming out. As a matter of fact, I heard this at the end of last season. Chelsea was looking at either Lukaku or Haaland, and they were more likely to get Lukaku because Haaland was going to be too expensive of an operation. So this has been brewing, and that's why back then I told you we should have just got rid of Lukaku because he'd get us the most money.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Any other words on Lukaku before we move on to the array of options that we are going to replace him with?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that they took his face off of that mural in Milan. Also, fake news, he's not the king of Milan. That's actually Zanetti, and the prince is still Milito. And I'm going to call it how it is. You guys can say what you want. He was never my king. That was a false god. All he did was replace Icardi and made me and Mario look right when we said that Icardi wasn't that great of a striker.
He really helped you guys with that one, man. Really pushed that one hard.
We said replace anyone, and we will win a Scudetto.
Yep.
All right. First name on the list, incoming. Snake said it perfectly. He's already getting 7.5 mil from Roma, so it's not like he's going down to these 3-4 numbers. It's probably going to be 5 bare minimum. 2-year operation. I reckon altogether we don't end up paying a fee. Probably a free transfer. We'll probably just take up his contract. Altogether, you're looking at about a 10 million to 12 million euro operation for Edin Dzeko for 2 years. I am all for this deal. It was something I wanted about 3 seasons ago, and I thought he could have been really, really good. But now, like with many of Inter signings, we're a little bit late to the party. But to be honest, this guy is still a guy that when he turns up for Roma, he's so professional. When he had a fallout with the coach last season, Roma dipped big time. And when the coach had no choice but to integrate him back straight into the lineup. I'm happy with it. I'll go over to Snake first and then Mario. What are your initial reactions to the Dzeko deal? How do you think he will be utilized time-wise and also tactically by Inzaghi?
I think first, glad that it got done quickly. I'm happy with that. I think he's a needed player for our structure and for our system. However, I'm not going to be upset about the cost. Whatever, that's fine. It's needed to be done. I will be a little bit upset if he turns out to be a key integral part of our team, because if he turns out to be an integral part of our team, something's gone wrong. Either we bought someone who failed, and that's a big worry, which is why we're going to get to Vlahovic. I'll talk about his inexperience and why if he ends up being benched and this guy becomes key. So look, very happy with the guy, but yeah, I think don't want to see him more than our go-to on smaller clubs. He can start some games here and there. We have a busy schedule, man. And I'm okay with him starting, but yeah, I don't want him to be too integral. We'll leave that for the next transfer.
Yeah, fair enough. Jonathan says we have to pay 1.8 mil fee for Dzeko as a favor to Roma so they don't show it as a loss. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. It is what it is. I'm sure it'll be made up in other ways. Indro Hardy says Dzeko is a good option, but Inzaghi didn't use the target man at Lazio. Don't know how Inzaghi's going to use him. As we just said, man, he's not meant to be the focal point or the centerpiece of a team the same way Lukaku was under Antonio Conte. He can do a job that Lukaku did to an extent for a certain amount of minutes, and I think coming off the bench, chasing a goal, or even to defend a lead as well, there's someone who with 20-25 minutes to go is really going to keep the ball away from fatigued defenders. That's for sure. Mario, over to you. Your initial reactions to Edin Dzeko. What are your hopes for him this season, man? Because a player that, you kind of always knew in the back of your head in the last 2, 3, 4 years, at some point, this guy's coming over.
He's like the Lavezzi deal that finally fell through, or worked out. So, he's been linked with us for like 3 years or something like that now, and finally something's come to life. I mean, he's what, 35, 6, something like that.
It's 36.
36. So you're not expecting much, but I mean, look what Zlatan does at 36 years old or 38 years old with Milan. Is it out of the question to say he can put 10 goals in? No, it's not. 15, you're asking for too much, but he's going to add another dimension to the attack. He's still a great player, still a great striker, and at any given point he can score. I mean, like you said, he's not going to be the focal point of the attack. He's not going to be our marquee signing. He's not going to overtake Lautaro's starting position. Will they work together? I think it's a relationship that they can feed off each other in a successful way that benefits Inter. But I don't know. I mean, it's a short-term kind of filler for whoever the striker of the future might be, it seems. Whether that's Vlahovic, as mentioned, or someone else, where if they're too young, you're not going to rely on them so heavily right out of the start. You're going to work them in. And Dzeko, with his Serie A, Bundesliga, his international experience, he's a champion, which is what Conte wanted. He wanted someone that's won, people that have won something. That's why he brought the Vidal. He went out through 7, 10, I don't even know how many podcasts we say this, where Conte wanted champions. Dzeko's a champion, Premier League champion. Did he win the Bundesliga? I don't think so. No, don't quote me on it.
No.
But still, he's a great player, great locker room experience, and he's not the kind of player that usually misses too much time for injury, if I remember correctly. So it's like a low risk, potentially like medium reward, I'd say. Not high reward or high risk, high reward. It's like a low risk, low reward. Sure, you're paying him, but I mean, you have to pay the guy because he's put in his time and he's going to do the work.
So, do you want to add to that, Mario? You hit the nail on the head. This transfer now, just to really come to terms with it, reminds me of the Sanchez transfer, a player who was past his prime on a very cheap, on a loan basically, but with a high salary. We knew he was coming in, and we knew he was going to play a bit part. And to be honest, I think the Sanchez transfer has been a pretty good one. I think he just needs to play a little bit more with his injuries. But if we get the same turnaround, I think that's the best way to look at this transfer. Someone who's going to come in, is not going to start, but does bring in that experience potentially, and can have a good couple of seasons, and that's it.
Yeah, last one in the comments. First person said Dzeko's too old. Yes, but what are you going to do? And now Biggie on the screen. It's good to have these kind of strikers teaching the younger guys because they're going to learn every day at practice what Dzeko does. Because you have to remember, these guys grew up as some of the younger players' idols. You play with Zlatan, you play with Dzeko, you play with, let's say, like Di Natale or Vicoli when they were at Palermo and Udinese. These are the guys that the younger generation looks up to. They watch them play on TV with their parents. So when you have a player like Dzeko next to you at practice every day, you're watching him. You're watching him like a hawk. How does he receive the ball in this situation? He's got two players on his back. What's he going to do? Is he going to try to turn them? How does he know where the pressure is coming from? It's little things like that these younger guys like Satriano will pick up on. And Satriano's been a great player preseason. So when you bring in these experienced guys like Lukaku, he could have been a big help to the development. But a player like Dzeko, it does more for the younger generation that you're trying to build up and throw into the lineup than Lukaku would. That's just my 2 cents.
Fair call. We're going over to Christian Rivas next, man, to start talking about who the other replacement besides Dzeko could be, because, there was a good comment down here before that said Satriano and Dzeko is a good replacement for Pinamonti, who's not doing anything. So basically, assuming that Pinamonti is out the door, we're going in next season with Dzeko, Lautaro, Sanchez, and Satriano, which, to be honest, ain't even that bad when you think about it on its own, but we need somebody else. So, ideally for me, and I know some people will disagree, it's Vlahovic would be your ideal replacement, but At only 1 year's experience under his belt in Serie A, you know, the comparisons to your Patrick Schicks and to your Piontek's are unavoidable. Zapata, look, 2 years ago, remember we were saying he was the best person to replace Lukaku off the bench. Like, that's the best person you could possibly have. But will he want to play bench role at Inter? No. And look what he's done in the meantime. He's bunging double-digit goals for Atalanta every single season under Gasperini. I know we got a lot of hate. I think it's more the deal and the financial side itself that was being disrespected, not Zapata, the player. He's a beast of a player, bro, and I still think he'd do well at Inter. It's just in terms of having a 30 to 31-year-old on your books for that much, 40 million with no resale value, doesn't look great. Latest news is that Tammy Abraham is going across to Roma and not Atalanta anyway, so we can pretty much count out Zapata. Besides that, Belotti's up on screen. Joaquin Correa is the other one being linked. Christian Rivas, this one's all you, bro. What do you think's going to happen? What would you like to happen?
So me personally, Zapata was just the most logical one because he's kind of physical like Lukaku. And again, he's more your safe bet because he's been banging in double-digit goals the last few seasons. He's more useful than Nick's head. So that's for sure like a big win in my books. Vlahovic, I mean, I told you myself I wasn't completely sold on him. Yeah, one good season doesn't give you a 60 million euro price tag. That just reeks Piatek all over again. Belotti is who I personally would have wanted. Me and Mario both agreed on that. He's still got a lot in his tank left. Torino had a bad team last year, so obviously he wasn't going to produce as well. But he does do a lot of dirty work. He comes back, he tracks back for the ball, helps defend, he helps push the ball forward. I guess we'll probably end up getting stuck with Correa. I don't like it because I think he's very inconsistent. So I'm not completely sold on him. There's not really much options out there at this point. And this was my thing was, unless you're about to go to Barca and be like, yo, here's 40 mil, give me Griezmann, and I'm doing you a favor. Because they still can't register Agüero, Depay, and the two other players they got this offseason because their wages are too out there. That was the only thing that would make sense to me. You want to please Inter fans, you're going to get them a name. You're not going to get them a wash-up. Griezmann still got something in the tank, but that's not going to happen. We're probably just going to get stuck with Correa.
Yeah, Zapata, 15 goals, 1 penalty, 9 assists is not bad at all. He thinks he's a better option than Vlahovic, 100%, man. But as this comment says, and as Mo said the other day, it's all about resale value, bro. And Beppe Marotta is just not going to see the point in that whatsoever. There's still 42 people here, so make sure you like the comment. Going back to Snake, off you go, bro.
Is it resale value though? I don't know. I don't agree, man. Man, I think it's about winning the title next year and staying sorry for swearing, staying competitive. My bad, guys. It's about staying competitive. And Zapata comes in, he's strong. He's good in the air. And he actually gets involved in the play. So really, you'd be able to shove him in there and it'd be fantastic, I think. If his name was Zapatinho, nobody would have any beef with him coming in, to be honest, because I think he just doesn't have that allure that that normal South American players from Argentina and Brazil have. Okay, he's Colombian. He hasn't played for the largest clubs, but he's played in some big competitions, and Atalanta has been showing up. My beef with Belotti, and someone said it before, is how much of a fighter he is. I think he's perfectly suited for those mid-table clubs. I don't think he's suited for those large teams. Just reminds me of some of those players that will do really well for those teams fighting for Europa League, for example. I don't know if he'll be great. That's a small gamble. I think Zapata is a safe bet. Vlahovic, I think it's a tough one, man. It's a real tough one. And do you take the gamble and sacrifice experience over potential, and then all of a sudden finish third or fourth because now you've got Dzeko starting every game, who's not as in his prime as he used to be. So.
A couple of people in the comments are throwing out Moise Kean. What do we think about that?
That would be ideal for me. I would love to have Moise Kean. I mean,
you got no problem with his attitude issues, even though it looks like he's been a bit better lately.
People talk about his attitude, but you got to look at the upside. He's also young, just like Lautaro. Of course, he's going to be a hothead. He's got to mature. You know, you got a lot of these young guys. They go to a club like PSG. You know, and they're able to do what they want. They get influenced by the wrong type of players.
Yeah.
My only issue with Kean is, if you just look at pure facts and figures, he just hasn't had at least one breakout season other than that PSG season And again, that was only 12, and he spent a lot of time on the bench. And I know it's a tough team. I know who he was up against. I know. But at the same time, like I'd probably go Vlahovic over Keane simply because at least Vlahovic has had one big season with a lot of goals. He knows how to score those big goals, whereas Keane would have to have one breakthrough season for me. And can that be? I don't know.
But you got to remember something.
Vlahovic will be playing in a much better team. Viola was a very inconsistent team last season, being fed bullshit. Like Vlahovic in our team could be a gun, but it's still a gamble, Christian.
Yeah.
Vlahovic is not the right buy, just for the simple fact that, again, 60 million euros for a one-hit wonder. I've heard it time and time and time again. If Tottenham want him, knock yourself out.
Well,
I would rather get Moises King. Even the fact that he had a decent season at Juve and then PSG and then Everton, at least he was playing on those top-tier teams and training there. Yeah, he's got a hot head, but stuff like that can be nurtured and he could be forced to mature.
I'm not a fan of Vlahovic.
Why is it that only Juve can do this magic formula where they pay peanuts up front and then they don't pay the rest for a while? Or actually, no, we just did that with a couple of players. Well, do it again. Go straight up to Fiorentina. Like if you've only got say 50 mil to invest in this market, you're going to pay what, 2 million up front to Dzeko. You've still got a little bit to play with up front. You buy Vlahovic for 60, but you have no intention of paying that 60 until 4 years down the track. You give them 25 up front, 25 up front, 20 next season. See what you can do the same way Juve did to Chiesa and what they're.
We did it with Lukaku, for example.
Exactly.
We haven't even paid off Man United yet.
Which is why we don't get the full amount of money. And Juve are about to do it with Locatelli as well. See, in an ideal world, and I know this sounds crazy, you're going off for 25 up front for Locatelli and for Vlahovic, and you shut everybody up with the money that you get. But then you're just taking too much of a gamble on the books when you're already in debt, and that's why we can't do that. We can't just keep adding all these assets. Yes, Mario?
I feel like there's a narrative around the Zapata signing that everyone expects him to be the Lukaku replacement, as if Inzaghi has went out and said, I'm going to need someone that plays exactly like Lukaku.
Good point.
I don't think he's like top tier on the list. Like he's a good player. He's a good replacement, don't get me wrong, but is that the guy that Inzaghi really wants to play with Lautaro? Because I'm reading the comments and following, obviously, and somebody said Belotti is more of a Lautaro replacement than a Lukaku replacement, which I disagree with. I think they would play well together because they're both hardworking. Belotti wouldn't have to be that all-around kind of guy that he needs to be. Like, if you watched him at Palermo, he was a dog. He just finished goals. He was playing with Dybala, who plays more of the Lautaro kind of role, sort of. In a way, I'm not going to say that they're the same kind of player, but, you know, that 1-2 kind of punch is what I'm getting at more so. And Belotti in that kind of a system, he can be lethal. He can be very, very effective. Torino's not a good team.
Yeah, fair enough.
Straight up.
You know what?
Just
go for
quickly,
it.
Anto, just want to level set everyone on Satriano. I think we need to just manage our expectations on the kid. You know, let's protect him. Let's not ruin his young career. That guy is set for big things from what we've seen, and I don't think we can sit him on the bench and then rely on him to do anything more than that. Or I think we just need to manage him very carefully. So I think he needs to be left out of the equation, to be honest. I think regardless of all of the names, they've all got pros and cons. It's going to be hard. But you know what? Being a fan of Marotta and the management, who have brought us to Scudetto after 10 years of seeing Juve win it, I trust they'll make the right decision. That's what makes me sleep well at night, as opposed to 90% of Inter fans who are, you know, struggling every night to go to bed. I trust these guys to make that right decision.
When Marotta leaves, that's when you know things are going tits up. When he leaves, then start to panic big time.
Yep.
But until he leaves, everything should be okay, and the ship will not sink. Yes.
Okay. You remember you asked me a couple of weeks ago where I thought I would finish, and I wasn't confident at all in top two.
Yeah.
I feel more confident now in the top two than I did before. Watching Inzaghi start to mold this team the second half of the Parma game, you start to see that these players are now more able to express themselves. And under Conte, it was literally like drill sergeant. It was like Gunny from Full Metal Jacket sitting there telling you what to do. You know, I mean, he's literally on the sidelines telling you every single move. Like, you can't do something that he doesn't tell you what to do. You get what I mean? And I feel under Inzaghi, you're going to see some of these players finally start to play better because they're going to be able to express themselves. I personally wouldn't be shocked if we saw Hakan Çalhanoğlu play behind Lautaro at the beginning to see how he does playing in that attacking midfield position and play Barella, Sensi, and Brozovic in that three shape in the midfield.
Hey, this could be a blessing in disguise if you're Inzaghi and you come as a young coach with some experience, not top tier, and you change a winning formula and it doesn't work in the first months, you're out. Yeah. However, now he's forced to put his own stamp and his own mark on a new team. And I reckon that's going to be a blessing in disguise because I think now he can do it his way in a way that suits not just Lukaku, but the whole team. So I think what Christian was saying was spot on. I think this is going to be a blessing in disguise. And I think we have a better chance in now being an identity that will suit our coach as opposed to trying to fit it into what Conte was.
I'm going to say this and everybody's going to hate me for this, but I'm kind of glad Lukaku's gone.
Well, there's
no other reason to feel now. We got to move forward.
Just for the simple fact that I said at the beginning, I was scared that he was going to come and he wasn't going to fit Inzaghi's system, and his price will drop from like 100 million euros to 50 million euros. Again, he's 28 years old. You know, it's one of those things you sell him while you can. Yeah. And I think Lautaro is probably going to benefit. I think this is his fourth season going into it for us. He still has a chance of being a great striker. He's still very, very young. He's been around enough to get molded. So Spalletti started the project. You know what I mean? He started kind of molding him into the striker. Then Conte came in and started fine-tuning him. Now we need Inzaghi to start polishing him like he did with Cheeto and Mobley. So the expectations are there that he could be a great striker. Now, if he fulfills it, that's on him. But he's had the right coaches to get him there. Go ahead, Mario.
It's completely unrelated. I like what Manny Norm said in the chat. It feels like we're making the same mistake that with Forlan as the replacement and Zarate. I don't know if that's the case because Forlan was a better, younger player. But it just didn't work out because that's when everything just went to shit at once.
So with Forlan, you can't compare because Forlan was played out of position.
Yeah.
He was played as a winger.
Yes.
Forlan is not a winger. So you cannot compare that situation.
And just to be fair, we haven't, we're coming from different places. We weren't champions when we sold it. We're champions now. That's one big thing. And number two, we can't judge until we know who the Lukaku replacement is just yet. I mean, we can say about Dzeko, he's needed. You can't say he's not. If we don't have that striker, this discussion will be taken when we know who's coming in.
We begged for depth last year.
Yeah.
Between Alexis, Lukaku, and Lautaro, we begged for that fourth striker because we didn't have it.
Even the previous year, we had to play Keita Balde as a striker in the Europa League. How shocking was that exit?
Now, even though we're losing Lukaku, we already replaced a backup. So that's one problem down. You have the backup already in place. Next, you need the replacement for Lukaku, the starting forward of the future. Excuse me, but we still have that in the process. So you still have Lautaro, Alexis, Dzeko off the bat, and we're looking for that fourth one. That's the next move that the club's going to make. It's not going to be anything else. It's not going to be another center back. It's not going to be another center mid, attacking mid. The right back we seem to have an idea of, but the fourth striker or the first striker or second, whatever you want to call it, that's the priority.
Yeah. So, and we've got some good young players who I think are just going to get better. Barella, Bastoni, these players are going to get better. So our team's going to improve. And just quietly, I'm going to make a claim that I think Çalhanoğlu is going to be the surprise package.
I wanted to ask you that, Snake. I was gonna say, what do you think about Çalhanoğlu? So
Man,
far,
like he's
he
looking
looks
pretty
like
sharp.
the real deal.
He's
He
looking
looks like the
sharp.
real deal.
And he looks like he's got something to prove, which for a player who's so inconsistent, mentality is a big thing. So I think we're going to get, maybe it could be just one season, but I expect something good of him this year, to be honest.
So I wouldn't be mad again if we didn't really sign a Lukaku replacement and we went in with Zeko, Lautaro, and Alexis and Satriano, as long as it's not Pinamonte because Nick likes Pinamonte. But
Nick's got a big head.
I think, to be honest, man, we're going to need another name. We're still playing UCL. We're still rotating. The minimum goal should be to get to the round of 16. We are going to be left looking really stupid when Alexis Sanchez gets the first of his 8 injuries next season, because there will be 8 injuries next season, spaced out at the worst possible times as well. And, you know, they won't even be fatigue injuries.
You're talking about Sensi, you're talking about Sanchez, or both?
Bro, I am pumped.
No, Sensi doesn't play.
I am pumped. Mario's his biggest hater. I am pumped. This is his redemption season, bro.
Oh,
This is
no.
redemption.
The only thing that's going to be redeemed is his release clause.
Without Conte and Pintus shouting "die, die, die" at him 75 million times a day, he will finally his mental fragility will finally just strengthen a little bit, bro.
Listen, it's like the TikTok. Linda, listen, Linda. It's been said for years and years that Conte's training regimens are like military, bro. Who's to say that this man Sensi wasn't hurt all the time because Conte was drilling this kid to the fucking grass, to the freaking ground? Who's to say that under Inzaghi, he's gonna nurture these players a lot better, and you're gonna see less and less injuries from players like him and Alexis? Who's to say that Conte wasn't a part of the reason they were hurt?
Yeah. And you've got 2 players now, Sensi and Çalhanoğlu. If they're fit. They're midfielders, but they played really well with strikers. And I recall Sensi at Camp Nou against Barcelona in that group stage. Remember him and Martinez in that first half? What a bloody game. Like, we owned that, man. And if we get that Sensi and we get Çalhanoğlu, like, these players could be behind. We could have a brand new outfit and a brand new way of playing. And to be honest,
it has to happen because all the Milanisti fans acting like Paolo Maldini is as good of a transfer director as he was as a defender is starting to piss me off a little bit, bro. They lost these players for free. Hakan needs to have a big season to just, put them back in their place as well. I wanted to refer to another couple of comments till I come back. What's wrong, Christian, bro? I know it's petty, but I'm a petty guy. You know I'm a petty guy, bro. Why are you acting surprised? Bro, there's still a big There's a big problem here, bro. All this talk and all this diversion, all this Scudetto, we're ignoring the biggest elephant in the room still, bro. We're going into next season with Handanovic as our goalkeeper and still no replacement.
So listen,
we're talking about that, and then I'll go to you, Mario, to talk about what you want.
One thing about Maldini, all right, yes, losing Donnarumma and Çalhanoğlu was big, but at some point he had to put his foot down when it came to Donnarumma. Donnarumma was asking for the world, and the thing that was petty about Donnarumma, he went to Paris for cheaper money. Now, my personal belief is that he's probably getting money under the carpet, as we say here. You know, like, he's probably getting finessed by the Qataris on the side. That's why he's playing for less than what he was at Milan, from what he asked. So I'm not completely mad with Maldini with what he did there and saying, you know what, if you don't want to take this contract extension, piss off.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Before we go over to Mario, I just wanted to give my friend Hal Snake a big thank you for coming in from Melbourne. Looks like a beautiful day over there, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
See you, mate. Ciao, Fortenta. Let's go over to a few of the comments just to acknowledge some people that are here because I've been a neglectful dude. Sal Gentile, nice to see you again. King Darian, Matt, Biggie, Kenny. It's the Culture guys back again. Thanks for joining us, boys. Who else we got? Kenny, good to hear from you again, bro. Manny is in. Sensi will also be the surprise package. Thanks for agreeing, bro. No, still no.
Still
King
no.
Darian. Oh yeah. It's the funny guy that is Bruno is coming in soon. Don't you worry, guys. He's pulling up nice and quick.
Yeah, with
Shout out
hype.
shout out my boy King Darian and Aiden. If Aiden's in there. If
King
not,
Darian is always here. Aiden's here as
That's
well,
my
but
boy.
not today. But King Darian is always here. Now Biggie says Perisic's Jekyll connection is something to watch out for. You heard it here first. Yeah, man. That's going to be an old connection. King Darian, Kessier, to follow Hakan next season. That's not impossible. For every day that Kessier does not sign a renewal, that is possible, bro. That is possible. And I've already seen three photos of him wearing Inter jerseys, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we're talking about that in a second as well. Cultural guys say should have pulled the trigger on Musso. We should have pulled the trigger on a few goalkeepers in Serie A, man. Anyway, welcoming my twin for more reason than one. We got the same beard, same kit. We got the Bruno FC at the bottom here as well. All right, bro,
That's
Bruno.
my boy.
I remember when they used to look that happy
fucking
when I used to speak to them, bro. It's a shame. I remember that look.
We talk all the
Alright,
time.
get out of here,
Bruno
Anthony.
barely messages me.
It's been a very interesting podcast, to say the least. But I've been flooding the comments with the one message: we're worried about strikers. We've got attack, but there's still this gaping hole at the back who drops the ball all the time, and our attention's just moved away from that whole Handanovic issue that we know age is now an issue when it comes to him. Atalanta gobbled up Musso. Now, Barcelona's having a flash sale. Well, let's get in there. There's Neto, there's Ter Stegen, which fantastic replacements. We need a striker. Aguero and Memphis are there as well. Let's look outside of Italy for some of this.
Are we finally able to start talking about Christian Eriksen and where his next destination could be? No. I know it's sad because he's your favorite player, bro. And to be honest, I'm still surprised you didn't get yourself an Eriksen jersey this season just for you. You got two? No, this season, the ones that just came out.
I'm not buying these stupid jerseys.
That's what I meant, bro. That's what I meant. You got your last season. Fair enough. It looks like Ajax will be his next destination. I think the only real thing to say is that if it comes down to a decision to take a pacemaker out, you choose no, you keep it in, and you go to a league that allows you to play with that pacemaker. I really don't think there's anything else to say about it. Christian Rivas?
Yeah, no, dude. Like at this point, if he's gonna go, let's try to get the goalie now.
Yeah, we could do that if we're gonna get. If he's gonna go to Ajax, we just get Onana early on the same free. It could be the solution that we're looking for because he was a great goalkeeper before he got done for his little drug episode right there. But I'll be confident in him coming in, and we probably end up getting a little bit of monetary compensation as well. Mario, are you okay?
No.
Fair enough, bro.
I don't know if I'll ever financially recover from this.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. But
it'll be nice to get at least 10 million for it. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to hold him hostage,
Yeah. Oh, well, definitely.
I
I think we're looking to finance the move as quickly as possible.
I think in the respect of Eriksen as well, and the league's holding him hostage, basically saying you take the thing that's keeping you alive out of your chest, or you don't play in it again. And it's a rule the Serie A's got, and they've got it for their reasons, which is fair enough. But at the end of the day, if he can go and play for his club with it still in there, and we've seen with Dali Blind, etc. Now, if he can go do that, there is no way I'm going to turn around and get upset with Inter. I'm going to get upset with Eriksen. Yeah, he came very good, but I think a lot of people are missing the fact that a lot of the fans who are upset with Lukaku's situation, a lot of these players performed well because of our manager and the way our manager structured the team. Now he's gone, we've got a clean slate again. Now, Eriksen, okay, he played extremely well, but would he play well in this situation that we've got now with Inzaghi? The same thing goes to, you can say yes, but at the same time, the same goes to Lukaku.
You can do with this all you want. It's yes.
Yes, but he can't play in the Serie A.
Express himself more though. Not to sit there and back Mario up, but he'll actually be able to express himself more and play.
100%, 100%. But we don't know what Conte has done to these players, and we're yet to see a proper fixture. So this Genoa game is going to show so much for us because Lautaro was a new player under Conte. Now, you were talking about Lautaro coming to Inter, etc. We brought him to Inter to be mentored by Icardi. Then there was the whole Icardi drama where he was just thrown into the deep end, and everyone's had these high expectations of him. But I think, Eriksen most probably would flourish, but we cannot hold him hostage at the club, and we can't go chasing money. Okay, you know what? We got a fantastic deal for him when we did buy him. We got to play with the cards we were dealt, and it's unfair for us to not let him go and play. And at the end of the day, you know what? If he ever gets it removed, we can maybe bring him back if that's the way it is. But you can't. Unfortunately, the situation's dictated itself. It's not one of these situations where, the Lukaku, he's money hungry, this, that. The guy does football for a living. We got to let him go. But I think the least said about the whole Eriksen situation, the better, until, he's 100% healthy and back to his former glory.
I personally would, like I said, if we could try and get the goalie now, let's do it. We can get Onana now, let's do it. If not, I'm not going to be mad because at the end of the day, like you said, dude, Eriksen's a person. Like, it's not like he's forced his way out of the club like Lukaku did. He has a pacemaker. It's his health. And again,
to track back 2 steps, 3 steps, would you say that these players under Conte have learned to play the game? So this way, when they go to their next club, they go there with a better understanding, tactical understanding of the game. So you give them that edge that other new signings wouldn't have. Because, Eriksen was a tactical work in progress, or whatever you want to say. He didn't fit Conte's strategy. Sure, you could say he was built to play in Conte's system, but who's to say, or not to say, that Conte prepared them to play the game the right way, more so than to teach them, but he prepared them. So this way, the next place they go, they'll have a better understanding of how to play that attacking midfield role in a more effective way while doing what the next coach wants to. So you kind of almost incorporate 2 different systems, but make it work because they're good play. A player like Christian Eriksen is a good player, regardless of the technical aspect. He's a great player, and then he learned how to play in an effective way under Conte. So a coach can only say, "This guy, he figured his shit out. How am I going to put that together in my system?"
So I don't completely agree with that because Lukaku, for example,
Conte is a very strict kind of coach. I
He's a drill
understand that.
sergeant, literally gunning for Full Metal Jacket, literally.
But he breeds success.
Google it. But Lukaku, I don't think he's going to be as successful in Chelsea as he was at Inter.
I think these players got really good at playing brand Conte. There's only so many systems in the world you can really translate those tactical implementations to. Like in an Inzaghi system, and this is why when Inzaghi was hired, we're like, okay, you're not exactly going from A to Z here. You're kind of meeting us halfway in terms of how we need to transition. For a player like Eriksen with such a high footballing IQ, he'll fit into any system in the world. Easy, like a fit. But I just
regardless.
I think we've got a lot more tactical flexibility this season because this season under Inzaghi and now with no Conte and no Lukaku, we are going to be unpredictable. We are going to be unpredictable from the first kick against Genoa. That's what I'm excited to see. And because I think Lukaku leaving was the last little showing that everybody else in the squad, including us fans and everything, needed to know that whole project, even though we really knew it was over a while ago, it's dead now to the point where a new project is not starting. It started. It's now. The new project has started. It's had some friendly games already. It starts domestically against Genoa soon. And, I think a good way to finish off this video would be, because we've almost been going for an hour now and there's still 42 people here, which is awesome. Let us know who you are. If you are new, make sure you do that. Before we do head off, I just want to think, who do you guys think will be coming in? Who do you guys think will be the last one? Do you think the Nandez deal is crook? Do you think it's done? I'll go over to Christian first.
So I'm stuck because I'm not completely sold on Dumfries yet. I would like Nandez, but I'd like Nandez as a center mid, not really a right back. That's just my personal preference. When I see him, he kind of reminds me of Barrela. He's a very hard fighter. He's a hard worker. He does work in that midfield. I think he's pretty good technically. I think he could be better at finishing, but on the ball, he's smooth with it. He makes something out of nothing. He's good at passing. And I think he could be really good in our midfield if we need the depth. Again, like you said, we're fighting on multiple fronts. We're going to be in the Champions League, and we're going to be Serie A and Coppa Italia. Again, me personally, considering I've seen what we're going through and financially, if we can get Correa for the cheap, I'm taking it. I'm trying to maximize the finances and put as much as we can into our books so we don't have to sell a Bastoni or Barrela next season. I would not be mad if we bought Dzeko and left it at that instead of spending 40 million on Zapata and 60 million on Rahalovic. Just for the simple fact that what if one of the guys are flops? You know what I mean? Like 60 million for a one-hit wonder, I'm not paying that. You know what I mean? That's like you might as well sit there and give MC Hammer $60 million.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks, bro. Mario, you next. Who's coming in? Who do you think the last couple of signings will be? Is it one or is it just Jekyll?
I don't know. I don't like to speculate on all this stuff normally. I don't like to read the reports. I hate it. Whatever I see on Twitter that people quote tweet, that's about it. I don't search for this shit. I hope Belotti. It's a stretch. Not going to happen.
Yeah, it's a stretch all the way to the west side of Sicily, bro. That's what it is. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Okay.
How much would you spend on him? Like, be real for a second. How much would you spend on him? And don't troll answer like 40 million. How much do you think you spend on Belotti?
You don't even spend 40 million on Belotti.
Probably 30.
Not even. Because Torino got relegated, no?
I think his contract is up in a year as well.
Oh, then you could probably get him for 25.
Torino stayed up. They didn't get relegated.
They stayed up.
No, they stayed up. Yeah, I don't think he's worth 25 though. Like, I get it.
Okay.
At one point he was worth 70, 80, but that was bullshit.
I think a realistic price is like 35. I think you can finagle it. I mean, because listen, Torino's they need
cash. I know they need cash big time.
They need to fix it. So I'm gonna go. I think we signed Dumfries. I think that does happen. And then I don't know that other striker position. I don't want to call it yet.
I think it could be. I think it could be Correa. I think we could go into next season with Correa, Dzeko, Satriano, Sanchez, and Lautaro, just because of if the Dzeko might be the only big man. I just don't see the Zapata deal happening if Tommy Abraham goes to Roma. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
But that is like turn around tomorrow. It's not official.
If we're throwing names out there, I want to throw out there Griezmann. Just because we're throwing names.
Salary, he gets like 17 million a year at Barcelona.
Yeah, but you can renegotiate that just for him to get a fresh start somewhere because he's not really liked over there. But then again, he might sit there and have a bomb season now that Messi's gone.
Yeah. I want to respond to Sal Gentile's comments about how does the other one. How does this make sense where we have 180 million and we could spend 30? We have to pay off all the other transfers that we had from past seasons. So yeah.
We said that at the start of the video, Sal, as well. Like, we still owe money on the Lukaku deal. That, like, when you pocket 115 for Lukaku, essentially the max profit we make off that is about 45.
Didn't they say it was a 91 million capital gain?
Nah, I don't know if it was that much, bro. Because at the end of the day, we bought him for what, 70?
It was 91 million capital gain on the season, just for the simple fact that his payments are broken up into 5 years.
Yes.
So it's a 91 million capital gain. Look it up.
Interest payment. So if we pay the lump sum off, that does drop down because the interest over 5 years is a lot more than over 2 years.
Yeah.
But a lot. You got to remember as well. Suning did go. They sold their soul to the devil in the sense of Oak Tree, where they went and fished out the loan as well there. So you got to remember as well those who may be, sunning out. I personally, as an Inter fan, agree, but at the same time, they're not the ones turning the screws as well.
I don't even know if I'm mad at them anymore. To be honest, the more you look at it, the more you look at it,
I don't know
It's
if you've seen
it's like a circle. It's
No,
a big circle.
I don't know if you've seen it, but when Aston Villa sold Grealish to Man City, the CEO of Aston Villa came out and he was extremely transparent with the club. What the thing was, whereas Marotta's come out, he said we're not selling any other big players, and then this offer comes along. That's why a lot of the fans are very against it.
But you can't say no to that.
You can't say no, but the respect level that Marotta demands as a president, CEO, sorry, but then you got Suning who just tarnished his name. He's like, I've gone out there publicly and said we're not selling anyone. Talk to me.
My beef with Suning is this. Was not even how I got finessed over the jersey, like whatever. That's petty. Even though it annoyed me, it was still petty. My thing about him is just come out and tell everybody the truth. You know what I mean? Tell everybody the truth. It was necessity. It was necessary because we knew we wouldn't get that much money back from him in the future. We needed money to start paying off a lot of stuff. It was just a necessity. It was necessary for us to do this. So if Suning was to come out and just tell everybody what it is, they'd get a lot more respect. That's just with anything and anybody.
And this is our beef, bro. Our owner is a coward, cuz. There's no other word for it, because all it would take is for a man with a set of balls to come out and go, oi, this is the situation. There's a pandemic. China has got restrictions. Very understandable. Just come out and say it to us.
You look at
after we sell.
He's a 21-year-old kid trying to play boss, bro. Like, yo, he's 21 years old. He don't want to face these dudes. He don't got the balls to face these dudes. He's not a man. He's still a little kid. And he's just playing with daddy's money. But realistically speaking, if you're a man, you come out and you tell everybody what it is, then I'm taking it. It is what it is. But I'm not completely mad at the Lukaku deal. Like, honestly, it made sense. Like, that $115 million was too good to be true, because I had a feeling that next summer he wouldn't be worth more than 40.
You can almost already seeing him having an average start under Inzaghi, and the entire fan base almost rioting, saying, how did we not take triple-digit millions for the guy? That being said, before Bruno talks, he is going to have to be on game from Minuto Uno, because he's about to enter one of the most unforgiving atmospheres in world football. Chelsea fans are the C word on top of a piece of cake, man. They are not going to be happy unless he starts scoring from minute one. It's a big transfer signing, man.
You got to remember, Chelsea's. You got to remember, I'll let Mario interject as soon as I finish this statement, because the next thing I've got to say is pretty intense. But Chelsea's top goal scorer last season was Jorginho, with 7 penalties.
Is that it? Did Werner not even get 7 goals?
No, it was horrendous. Giroud, I think, was second on 6, right?
So how are they slapping 40 million on Tammy Abraham if you're telling me he didn't score 7 goals?
He didn't start. Tammy Abraham wasn't given the starts that Werner, etc. was. So Tammy Abraham didn't really decline in value, but Lukaku hasn't got high expectations this season. Beat the 7 goals scored and progress, but you're going to the Champions League winners, where you're sitting up here, and unfortunately for Chelsea and Chelsea fans, it's a downhill climb from there. With PSG and Man City, I don't think the Champions League is compatible at the moment. But I'll let Mario get to what he's got to say.
First off, Suning don't owe anybody any explanation. They got us a Scudetto after 11 years, 10 years, what the fuck it is. and nobody can say shit. Nobody can take it away. Regardless of what happens next year, they're trying to make up for it. So you sell Lukaku. First you sell Hakimi thinking we're going to sell a couple others. Fine. Because, we'll figure it out. Then this golden offer comes on the table. 150 million. You cannot say no to 150 million. Which brings me to my next point. I hope Lukaku fails. Not because I don't like him. Not because he left. Completely irrelevant. I respect him. He gets paid. Whatever.
This is vintage Mario Galliano, by the way. All the excuses before he alludes to why he hates someone. Yeah.
It's not that.
No. I know where he's going with
It was
this.
the right thing to do. That's the
No player on the face of this earth should be bought for 115 million and expected to perform miracles. He's not Messi. He's not Ronaldo. He's not Maradona. He's not that bozo Pelé. He's just a good top striker in a sea of mediocre strikers that just trail because you have Lewandowski, Lukaku, Suarez, and then there's a pretty steep hill down below that.
This was the best thing I saw online, bro. This was the best thing I saw online. Lukaku was hated at Chelsea, then hated at Manchester United, came to Inter and became loved by the whole family.
World.
Like, his big head the size of Nick blocked a goal that was going in against Sevilla, and nobody crucified him for it. Everybody was sitting there like, yo, shit, it happens, bro. Like, it happens. It's okay. Like, nobody's mad about it. If that was to happen at United or Chelsea, oh man, they would have been trying to kill that man straight up. He came and he was respected and was treated like legitimately a god at Inter. And then this man literally spat in the face of all the Inter fans. And he spat in our faces by saying, I don't plan on going nowhere. Knowing damn well you were talking to Chelsea the whole time, bro. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you this. If you didn't want to leave, when Marotta says 130 million euros is your price, Marotta's getting his 130 million euros. So the fact that he got 115 tells me that you were in the back room demanding to leave. On top of that, Inzaghi had you in his office for over an hour and a half.
I think that's a good point, man, to be honest.
Look.
I think it's a good point.
I gotta give my 2 cents on that, because I agree in the sense of when Marotta says something, but if you look at the current climate and you look at who's spending money and where the money's being spent from, everyone's impressed with PSG. They bought one player, Hakimi. The others were free transfers. And, Inter's the kings of free transfers the last couple of seasons. But when a player comes, when I look at it like this, right, there are sometimes offers too good to be true. And I've seen you commenting on a couple of forums, Christian. But when someone comes to you and offers to literally double your wages, and the pressure, I think the pressure of Inter was coming and starting to hit Lukaku, because he realizes he hasn't got Conte there. So this isn't Conte ball which turned into Lukaku ball. This is a new game altogether. And was there going to be more? Was there going to be more of a pressure on Lukaku? This, that, and everything else. But when Marotta wants 130, we don't know the finer details of this. We're only going off what the reports are saying. And if it's 115, you can see that there's a roughly about 15 million in bonuses there. So the 130 is there. But I think that, and yeah, this was my next point that I was going to bring into the conversation after this. But I think that Lukaku might have wanted to leave after he saw the numbers that were being thrown at him. But I don't think anyone else at Inter stood around and said, please stay. Or stood around and said, look, we can't give you this, but we can, sort of work through this. Because this is the first club I know winning the title and losing their wages.
But then again, if that was the case, Lukaku, you're not an Interista. Stop faking.
That's what I was about to say. Remember,
the role.
He likes us.
He sat there and said, this is home. I'm the king of Milano, blah, 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 blah. Nah, bro. Zanetti turned down double his wages to go to Madrid. He turned down double his wages to go to Barcelona.
Toldo too.
Who else?
Toldo
did too.
He did.
He turned it down to play back up to Julio Cesar, to stay at Inter. Bro, these are Interistas.
Yeah, but this is a dying breed. This is a dying breed.
It might only be 11 years after the treble, but this is a whole different generation of athletes, bro.
It's a different generation, but don't go around trying to claim like you're something, telling all the fans this is your town, that you're not leaving anywhere. I agree. Don't go around with your mouth saying that. Like, bro, just tell it what it is.
That was for Zlatan, though.
You run around claiming that you're the realest man out there. Like, yo,
talk it, Mario. It was all Zlatan. It was all for show.
It was Zlatan. He was attacking Zlatan.
He was protecting brand Lukaku. But what I will say this is he loves us, but he was never in love with us. Adriano is his second idol after Didier Drogba. Inter is his second favorite club after Chelsea. He's maintained that, and I get it. Like he shouldn't have done that. He should have come back to training and kept his head out of the photos and kept his head out of the videos and said, you know what? Until I know what's going on, I'm not going to act like this to the fans. They deserve better.
I don't buy it.
Now,
I don't buy
let's not dwell on this because we're going to get too heated, but let's bring back this comment here, right? Interspuck. We've heard all about it, and we've seen the fan reaction from all different aspects. Is this now the time to move to a fan-based sale of the club? Because I put it like this: if Carlo Cottarelli and Interspec had $200 million there ready to invest 6 months ago, they would have gotten about 20% of the club. Now they're looking closer to 40 to 50% because by us selling these assets, Zhang is shooting himself and he's shooting Suning in the foot because although, you know what, we're replacing them, 28-year-old Lukaku sold for 115 million euros to bring in Dzeko. You know, we're replacing them, but what are we replacing them with? These assets don't hold the value. We had Lukaku, we had Hakimi, and unfortunately there's Eriksen this season. Right? So in the larger scheme of things, our asset values drop down. Now, we've seen what the fan-based ownership has done for Bayern Munich, and then you've got the 3As who own the rest of them. Allianz, Aldi, and there's one more, but I don't remember.
That's great. Ideally, bro, what you're saying would be fantastic. It would just come down to whether Zhang can push his ego aside, which he has had his whole time. And, you know, with what he's done so far, do you really think Zhang's going to turn around and go, oh, look, the fans, for the greater good of the club. Yeah, take it. Take it on a platter, 180 million euros cheaper than it was 3 months ago. I love what Interspuck's doing in the background, but it needs Suning's tick of approval beforehand. Matt Pickham says, can there be another video tomorrow to further discuss? Bro, I might get one out tomorrow. It might be the next day. We'll see how it goes. I appreciate the comment and I appreciate the 46 people still here. So make sure you like the video. In terms of anything else, Bruno, is there anything else that we should discuss or should we leave it at that? We could keep going we could keep going for as long as we want to, but I don't know.
I think between now and you've got on, it's Thursday our time, Wednesday probably everywhere else in the world, the what is it? The Super Cup, the European Super Cup between Chelsea and Villarreal. So they're trying to make this certain, guaranteed by then. So potentially we could be talking something then. But look, at the end of the day, the numbers we're throwing around for Lukaku and everything else, we know what Hakimi we sold him for because everything's official. Nothing is official yet. We haven't had the exchange of the players. Yeah, he's doing his medicals, etc. But once we get everything, I think we'll be better able to dissect. I'm happy that the Bundesliga, La Liga, and APL are finally returning because even though we had the Euros, it just feels like it's been a month too long. So it's going to be interesting. What is it? 3 weeks left of the transfer window. There's so much that can happen. So I don't know. It's been a pleasure, and it's always exciting. And how is it not Pazza Inter? That's what we're known for.
Always, bro. Christian Rivas, what a pleasure it was to be joined by yourself again, bro. Catch up soon, no doubt.
Yeah. Can I make one comment?
Yeah, of course you can.
Messi's a fake god too. I don't care what anybody says. If he really loved Barcelona like he claims he would have played for them for like 5 million euros.
They couldn't.
They couldn't.
Barca dicked themselves, bro. It was self-suicide from Barca.
They're not
Barcelona let his contract expire. Barcelona let his contract expire, and as a result, they couldn't re-register him without clearing the wage debt.
Yeah, but they still got 3 weeks to clear that wage gap. He could have sat there and been like, you know what? I'll do a 5 million euro contract.
They got to clear it.
He hasn't signed anywhere else.
He signed
to clear it.
That's done.
No, hasn't. Nothing official.
He's in Paris, isn't he?
He's not in Paris yet. I thought he was on the way. But did you see how many fans outside of Paris woke up this morning to gather outside the stadium? Imagine he doesn't go.
Bro.
Man City haven't made their move on Kane yet, so maybe that's because Messi's in the background.
Bro,
he's not going to Man City, bro. No way. Not after Grealish.
If Messi were really about that Barcelona life like Puyol was, he would sit there and play for €1 million or a dollar contract because this man made over €1 billion because of that club. I mean, he helped them make that much money too, but he also helped them go into fucking debt.
Yeah, I know.
I think overall, I've done a lot of research on it, and because his contract expired, he can no longer take. It's like
it's a new signing.
It's a new signing altogether. So it's like the Memphis and the Aguero signings. They're at the bottom of the list. They cannot be re-added. So even if he played for $1, he cannot technically be a part of that squad until they cut another 25% of the wage bill.
I'm gonna leave you guys with something that's gonna make you sick, and it's meant to insult you as well, Mario. And this last comment, bro. Look how disgusting that is, Mario. Look at the jersey that you wear. Look at what you're protecting. Look at what you're promoting. You've absolutely disgusted us all today, Mario Galliano. One of your worst episodes and hits ever. Shame on you. Off to Ritoro, you go, bro.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. Guys, this was really, really good. Football Worldwide is obviously a platform that we've just recently, Bruno, myself, and everybody else have started to push through. So catch them coming up soon. Follow all the socials, Football Worldwide, and we're going to keep having gentlemen like the ones that you see below us talking all day, every day about the different European leagues. Mario, anything else for you to say?
He's changing his name.
Lukaku's a coward, bitch.
Mario Icardi. Oh, did you change it, Bruno, or something? Because that's pretty good, man. Next time you're going to do something like that, let me know so I can screenshot it, bro. Because that was better. I can just rewind it and get it anyway.
I don't know if I want to be a part of this podcast anymore.
We'll leave that.
I fought for this man to come on the podcast, and this is how he repays me. I fought to the death.
I heart Bruno.
From all of us here at Inter Worldwide, if there's still 46 people here, leave a like before you go. Subscribe, share the video. Forza Inter, Forza Italia. Ciao, ragazzi.